Peace, family. Welcome back to another episode, Underground Railroad Productions. This is your host, Rich. A couple of weeks ago, I read from this book, The DNA Field and Law of Resonance by Pierre Frank. It was called Creating Reality Through Conscious Thought, The DNA Field and Law of Resonance. And I noticed a couple of you in the comments section said that I should do this more often, the recommended books that I have in my library. And these are books that guide me, that have helped me tremendously and that are utilized from, different points in my life in reference to remind me of, how reality is structured. Because there's so many distractions out here in this world that we live in, especially the internet world, that you have to remind yourself about what this ish is really about. So saying that, to move to the topic today, David Icke. Man, we got this thing where, we throw the baby out with the bathwater a lot. Bobby Hemming used to say that, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Now, I remember in the late 90s, probably 2000, it was around the time the World Trade Center buildings fell. David Icke was on fire around that time. And, he had the reptilian agenda, and he had, all of these books dealing with conspiracy theories. And with David Icke, either you hated him or you loved him. And, he was talking about how all the politicians, they turn into reptiles. And it was some weird shit. Like, you was like, you had to really sit back and think, like, wow. When I turn my head, do they turn into reptiles? And back then everybody was looking at, Bill Clinton like, damn, is he about to turn into a reptile? Let me try to pay attention. So, a lot of people think because that is so, it's so out there, that theory that they turn into reptiles, a lot of people write David Icke off as an agent. Do I think when Bill Clinton goes home that he literally turns into a reptile? I don't think that. No, I don't think that. But I don't think everything David Icke says is wrong at the same time. I don't think that. I don't know. People say he's an agent. Even if he is an agent, to be an agent, sometimes in order to lie somebody, you got to give them some of the truth. So this is why they say don't follow the teacher, follow the message. So even the agents out there, in order to convince you, they know you ain't a complete damn fool, so they got to give you bits of the truth in order to trick you. So, you take what you could take and you keep it moving. I'm not going to sit up here and say David Icke is definitely an agent, but, a lot of people say that, and I can see why a lot of people say that. I can see why a lot of people say, he's full of shit with the reptile thing and all of that. I can see that, but there's some things in his books that are just absolutely phenomenal. And we also got this thing, especially in the black community, where because he's white, we won't we won't read his book. We're like, yo, what this white man gonna teach me? These white people got access to our ancient culture. They go to Egypt and the Kemet, and they got the resources, and they study, and they hard look at National Geographic. They not to say that they gonna tell your ass the truth, but they out there. They got resources. So I appreciate for what this experience that we're in. I always want to give my appreciation to individuals who helped me along the way, and I'm not scared to say David Icke has helped me along the way with me gaining knowledge of self. So I appreciate and I thank David Icke for what he has done. And I leave everything else, it's whatever, whether he's an agent or whatever, but there's things, that information that he has put out that has truly helped me, and I am appreciative for that. Today I want to read to y'all. Now today, the information I'm reading today from David Icke, yo, this is like phenomenal. And it's from this book called Human Race Get Off Your Knees, The Lion Sleeps No More. Now we all know, I deal with quantum physics a lot on this channel. I deal with metaphysics a lot on this channel. And, I just had a gathering of the metaphysical masters with Dr. Valentine, Brother Panic, I say the Duke of Tears, and they was touching on different aspects of quantum physics, metaphysics. Phil did it at Phil's demonstration. He was talking about the quantum physics mafia or something at the end, where he was talking about what's the dude name, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and all of them, and what's the other guy's name? I forget his name, but y'all just got to get that DVD or sign up to Patreon to see that. But David Icke approaches this from a cosmic internet perspective, showing you how technology is a model of pretty much how reality is structured, and it goes way deeper than that. But I'm gonna read a couple of pages, and then if you're interested, because I understand that what we see with our eyes, or what we feel, the external world is the world of effects, but there's something that causes this, and that comes from the blackness, the inside. That's why my name is Black Magic. I gotta go within to create this shit. You know what I'm saying? So the inside realm creates the outside realm. You have to believe to see. You don't see. People think you have to see to believe. They flipped it on us. They reversed it on us. So once I feel something inside, I know it exists, and it's up to me whether I want to continue to crystallize that belief so I could experience in this 3D dimension. So man, check this out, man. Now, like I said, this is absolutely phenomenal, some of the information that's in this book. Check it out, family. We're gonna start with this right here. Who am I? Very few people have this realization, though, that is changing, because they are pressured and manipulated to see themselves as their minds and their bodies. They look in the mirror and say, that's me, and they listen to the endless thought chatter in their heads and say, that's me, but it isn't. That me, or is not that me, is not a me at all. It is the vehicle for the real me, consciousness, to experience this reality. Humanity has been deceived on so many levels, and in so many ways, to identify the me, the I, with mind and body. This fake identity entraps our focus of attention, our awareness in the mind, body, and disconnected from the true I, consciousness. This is crucial to both our own experience of the world we collectively create, given that their perspectives are so vastly different. Consciousness knows that everything is one, while the mind sees everything in terms of separation and division. Mind as a servant to the experience of consciousness is fine. That's the role it is meant to play. It is when we think we are our minds and bodies that the trouble starts. We are then caught in an illusion that we think is real. It is mind that gives us the experience of this realm of form or of things by decoding vibrational reality into illusions like time, space, and apparent physicality. Much as a computer decodes information on a software disk into pictures, text, and graphics onto a computer screen. Time, space, and physicality do not exist except as an illusionary construct, and we experience them through the decoding systems of mind and body, as I will be explaining in detail. It is so simple when you see how it all works, and extraordinary when you realize how physical reality is so different to what we think it is. The physical world you see as outside of you only exists in that form in your brain. Ridiculous? Impossible? No, simply true. We don't see with our eyes. We see with the decoding systems of the brain. The eyes turn vibrational information into electrical signals, which the brain decodes to destruct our physical reality. Everything is the same information in different forms, be it vibrational, electrical, chemical, whatever. The means of communication is different, but it's the same information in different forms. It is like a man it is like a man in a suit passing a piece of paper to a woman in a dress who gives it to a block in a t-shirt. The means of communication may be different, but it's the same information. The principle applies to the body computer that communicates and decodes information vibrationally, electronically, electromagnetically, and chemically. The book you are looking at now only exists in the apparent physical form inside your brain. The same with everything else that you see, including the sun, moon, and stars that seem so far away. All the sound, sight, touch, smell, taste, colors, temperature, experience of distance, solidity, even movement are all vibrational information waveforms decoded via the five senses in the brain into the illusion of physicality out there. The fact is that there is no out there when it comes to the physical world. It feels you like you are physically holding a book, I'll grant you. And the same for me as I tap the keyboard, but your hands and mind are converting vibrational information from the book and from the keyboard into electrical signals, which the brain encodes into the sense of physicality holding the book and tapping the keys. I will be going into this in much more detail as we go along. It is fundamental to understanding what is really happening in the world, quote unquote world. Much of the information I shall be revealing across many subjects will seem extraordinary and far out to most people, but what the hell else can be more far out than the fact that you are not even physically holding a book you are reading. The world is not just a little bit different to how we think it is. It's nothing like the way we think it is. All right. When you begin to see the true nature of physical reality, you realize just how completely humanity has been deluded. You also understand how few can control the majority so comprehensively when the few know that what reality is and the majority do not. We are experiencing what can be likened to a cosmic virtual reality game. And the human body is a computer system that connects us to this game, just as a computer reads information on a software disk and projects images onto the screen. The body-mind computer is the interface between consciousness and the game. I call our reality the cosmic internet because the internet analogy is very apt. If you log onto the World Wide Web with a computer anywhere in the world, you are connecting to the same collective reality. What you make of it may vary, but it's the same collective world. So it is with our virtual reality universe. The computer mind is the interface that allows our consciousness to log onto the cosmic internet. This is the vibrational construct made up of information which the body computer decodes into an apparent though illusory physical reality. Being born is like consciousness going online. Whew! Let me say that again. Being born into this reality is like consciousness, who you really are, going online. We logged onto the internet when we came down here. Ask someone to describe the internet and they will say it is websites with graphics, words, colors, and pictures. Well, yes it is. But the only place the internet exists is in that form on the computer screen. Everywhere else, the internet is electrical circuits, mathematical codes, and so on. Ask someone to describe television and they will say it is moving pictures on the screen. Once again, yes it is. But the only place television exists in that form is on the screen. Everywhere else, it is electrical circuits, mathematical codes, vibrational wave fields, and so on. It is the same with our five sense reality. The only place it exists in the solid three-dimensional form that we experience as the world is on our screen. The computer system in the brain that decodes an energetic, electrical, and digital information into people, places, landscapes, and things. What is the internet? It is information decoded into colors, shapes, words, and pictures by a computer. What is five sense reality? It is information decoded into colors, shapes, words, and pictures by a computer. The human body brain computer. There are plans to make the internet itself a much more virtual reality experience through interfacing with the senses and implanted microchips in the brain. Technology is increasingly mirroring our experienced reality, and scientists can connect the brain to a computer because they are connecting to computers. Albert Einstein was right when he described reality as an illusion, albeit a persistent one. The illusion is that the world is solid. It is in fact vibrational, electrical, electromagnetic, chemical, and digital information that we decode into what only appears to be three-dimensional solidity. The illusion is persistent because that decoding is happening is constantly happening, just as a computer is constantly decoding information passing through it. Einstein said a human being is part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts, his feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. Wow, I gotta take a break. Whew, that was deep, man. That was deep. We live in what we think is a solid physical world, but there is no such thing. Am I having one of my turns? Not at all. There is no out there in terms of physical reality of streets, landscapes, aircraft, cars, stars, and other people. The girl that left you don't exist. The guy that cheated on you don't exist, family. Oh man. The police the Asians that beat the black girl in the store, they don't even exist. Oh man, this is amazing. This is amazing. It's freeing. It frees you. Okay, back to the book. This was explained perfectly in the Matrix movie trilogy in the interchange between Neo and Morpheus. Neo asks for confirmation that the physical world he thinks he is experiencing and isn't real. Morpheus replies, what is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, taste, and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Virtual reality technology that we see today employs to the same senses and brain decoding processes. People don headsets and cyber gloves to feed information to the brain through their eyes and hands that it decodes into an apparent 3D reality. Okay, wow. The brain, and in fact the whole of the body genetic structure, is a computer and receiver transmitter system reading information encoded in light and decoding it into pictures on a symbolic screen in the brain. Colors are just different frequencies with invisible light that the brain decodes into colors. The bright and colorful world only exists in the brain, which itself is in a state of complete darkness. Our eyes transform vibrational information into electrical signals via cone cells that pick out the information encoded within light, which the brain decodes into colors. There is no sound out there any more that there are physical objects. We hear sound only when vibrating energy is transformed into electrical signals by the ears, and the brain decodes it into noise. When this system malfunctions, people only hear silence, because outside the body computer, that is all there is. The brain is silent as it decodes sounds, just as it is dark as it decodes light and color. The other senses of smell, touch, taste all work on the same principle. It is the brain that does the smelling, touching, and tasting. If you could override the decoding system, you could get people to eat one thing and taste another. You see it all the time in the stage hypnotist shows. When you are holding something hot, it is the brain decoding system that makes you go ouch. And the same when you bang your knee or hit your thumb with a hammer. Hey brain, thumb here, I've got information for you. If you can override the brain's temperature decoding mechanism, you can walk through fire without getting burned. You can only burn if your brain decodes it. As I said earlier, the illusion can't burn an illusion can't burn an illusion unless you decode the illusion of burning, and so experience the apparent consequences. Man, the I in the form of infinite consciousness doesn't incarnate into a physical body, and nor do we actually leave the body at death, although that analogy is fine to use symbolically. When you are sitting at a computer and you log onto the internet, you, the person at the keyboard, don't go anywhere. You sit in a chair while the images on the screen change as your computer reads information and turns it into text and images that you can see. What you are observing appears to move, but not you. Our reality is like that too. Our consciousness looks into this world through the body, mind, computer in the same basic way that you look into the internet through the desktop computer. I was sitting in the bath one day when I had a vivid picture appear in my mind. It began a mass of swirling energy that I immediately took to be consciousness. An eye then appeared amidst the energy, and in front of the eye became a telescope. This looked out to Earth and the wider universe, and finally the telescope morphed into a human body. I asked Neil Hogg to paint what I saw, and you can see in figure 167. He has a picture. He has a picture of, like, imagine space, and there's this huge telescope coming from the ethers, from space, from black space, into what we call Earth. So he's basically trying to say is that we're a fine point, we're a tiny dot in the infinite all, with a telescope coming into this planet Earth. And the telescope, imagine a telescope, the telescope eventually morphs. It's a telescope, but the telescope is in the shape of a human body. It morphs into a human body. So we're just, we're projecting our infinite selves down here. It's dope because he's saying we didn't leave heaven. We didn't leave with the infinite. We didn't leave there. We're still there. We're multidimensional. We're there in here simultaneously. So we're just projecting ourselves down there through a telescope that we call the body. It's an advanced telescope that allows us to see in the world of illusion. I mean, it's some deep shit this dude is kicking. Deep shit this dude is kicking. All right. Let me see. When we look into the World Wide Web, we actually don't go into it. The virtual reality universe can be so compelling, however, that consciousness becomes mesmerized and bewildered, and to believe it is inside the game. This transfers attention to the five senses alone, and people become trapped into mind-body reality. I'm getting ready to. I'm not gonna read much more, man, because this is just amazing. That's what happened. Imagine you sit there and you meditate for hours and weeks, and you think you about to, you tapping into some shit, right? Then you go out one day. You live in New York City. You live in a busy city. You go out one day. Somebody curses you out. Then after somebody curses you out, you catch your girlfriend cheating. Then after you catch your girlfriend cheating, you go to a bar and you spill it, and somebody spills a drink on you. Then after they spill a drink on you, you go home and your cable's turned off. Then after your cable's turned off, you so stressed out you wake up late for work. After all this happens, you forgot about all that meditating shit. You so immersed in the five senses in this 3D illusion that you really think you inside the game. You forgot that shit you was just reading, cause all of this sensory illusory shit done happened to you that you like, damn, I'm fucked up. But the real you could never be fucked up. The real you ain't even down here. The real you is just projected consciousness is playing a video game. Imagine you playing the Street Fighter or NBA 2K, and you start thinking you little Kobe Bryant on the screen. You start thinking you LeBron James on the screen, and you like, you know what I'm saying? Yo, it's crazy, man. Like, I could go on and on. Like, he dropped so many gems in this book, but I need everybody to go out there and get the book. The cover on the book is going to be on the screen. You should go out there and get the book. Yeah, I mean, let me just read a little more. This is deep. This is deep. And like I said, I could just go on and on, man. I could go on and on. You know what? I was going to read that, but let me read this little part here. Because as I told you, everybody knows I deal with metaphysics. So this little part, I'm going to even tell you the page. This is on 383. And this section is called The Metaphysical Universe. Now, remember what I said in the beginning about how, I'm black magic. I go within to create what I see in my reality. Okay. Now we come to a fundamentally important point that will explain so much about so much that happens in the world, in the quote unquote world that we quote unquote see. The foundation construct of the virtual reality universe consists of vibrating energy or waveforms. This is where information is encoded, which is read into electrical, digital, and holographic. If you want to change the physical holographic, you have to change the waveform reality, or what my friend Clem Holson in South Africa calls the metaphysical universe. It is an excellent name, and I will use this throughout the rest of the book to describe the vibrational information waveform construct from which manifests all of the levels of the virtual reality universe: the electrical, chemical, digital, and holographic. When people talk about the subconscious or going within, they are talking about, whether they know it or not, the vibrational waveform level of reality from which all things are decoded into manifestation. It is the information blueprint of the virtual reality universe, and this is where everything is made to happen or not to happen in the physical world of daily experience. This is the stadium in which the outcomes of games are decided. All other levels through the holographic are just the game, by then already decided, playing out. I have seen a suggestion that something like 98% of decisions that we make are not made by what we call the conscious mind, but by the subconscious. I will go further and say that the figure is 100%. The conscious mind is not the decider of reality. It is the experiencer of reality. You could think of the waveform level, the metaphysical universe, as the movie projector, and the holographic physical world as the movie screen. Once the movie is projected, there is no changing it. You can shout out the screen as much as you like, get angry and emotional as you like, but the movie is not going to change once it has left the projector and hit the screen. The virtual reality universe is just the same. Once the waveform has been decoded into the holographic, it is a done deal. To change the holographic, we have to change the waveform information blueprint, the metaphysical universe. And I'm going to end it there. In order to change this reality, in order to get the example, the nail salon with the Asian ladies beating the black ladies, in order to get that to stop happening, we have to change the inside, the metaphysical universe. We have to change the way we view the world. We have to change the way we view ourselves. It happens inside. Michael Jordan said one time, they asked Michael Jordan, they said, yo, how do you win so many game winners? How do you hit these shots? You just know where to be on the court at the same time. Michael Jordan said, yo, I practice it in my mind so much, in practice in my mind. When it's game time, it happens automatically. And that's what they said. It's a done deal. Once we do it in our mind, once you decode that information, the waveform information, once the brain decodes it, it's a done deal. After that, the movie's playing. After that, it's playing in the movie theater. You can't stop it. Once you watching Black Panther in the movie theater, it's a done deal. They done did they takes, T'Challa's gonna win. It's over. They done filmed the movie already. So if you want to change it, you got to go back to the editing. You can't change it on a movie screen. And how do we go back to the editing? We go back within. We change the way we decode reality. First, you got to change who you are. When I say I'm a bad motherfucker, if I say I'm motherfucking God, and pardon the language, but the language evokes a certain emotion, which makes me feel it more. You know what I'm saying? So if I say I'm bad, I'm like Ali said, I'm the greatest of all time. When he said that, I'm sure an aspect of his consciousness knew he was the greatest, because a part of him, he felt it inside, and that feeling you have inside is the real you relaying the message to your conscious mind. And your conscious mind is like, well, why do I keep thinking I'm the greatest? You was ever young, every rapper, I'm sure Jay-Z said one time, why do I keep thinking I could be a good rapper? When I was 20, I had these thoughts. Why do I keep thinking that I could ask good questions to somebody? I just kept having that thought in my head, like, think, one day I was like, I think I got the ability to ask good questions. And consciously, I didn't understand why I kept having that thought. But that is the real you relaying the message to your conscious mind. Sometimes your conscious mind rejects it as just craziness. Like, where I get this thought from, man? I ain't no motherfucking, man. I'm just Bob that works. That's Bob the plumber. And your subconscious, your super conscious mind is like, oh man, this nigga think he's in the video game. You're not in the video game. The conscious mind is just the experiencer. You have to learn to listen to that crazy voice inside of you that comes up with these crazy ideas. The people that succeed in this world aren't the people that have big IQs. It's great to have a big IQ. I don't know the numbers, I don't know the numbers, the system, but it's great to have a big IQ, but it's even greater to dream big. That's why that's why sometimes you ever seen a nigga, a person that they got mad money and you like, man, you said you got an MBA. You at home with an MBA, you got wife and kids, and because your mortgage is so big, you just getting by. You're not really happy. But and you're looking at Tekashi. I'm not trying to insult Tekashi 6ix9ine or son, but you might look at Kim Kardashian. You're like, how these motherfuckers got all this money? So when we can't figure out how they got all this money, we come up with all these conspiracy theories. They got money because of this. They got money because of that. And we figure out ways to explain why they got what we want. The real reason why they got what we want, and they may be it may be a conspiracy on a physical level, but the underlying reason why they got what they want is because they decoded something from the holographic field that allows them to project that reality into this dimension. Now you could say, well, Kim Kardashian is big because she did a sex tape. You know how many girls want to do a sex tape and get where she at? Girls could, what we do? We try to follow the blueprint of somebody that's successful. So there's 100 girls, there's 1,000 girls that'll do a sex tape and say, okay, this is the blueprint. I do a sex tape, I do this, I get with a rapper, I get with a football player, and I'm gonna have just as much money as her. But it doesn't work. So they're like, damn, why it work for her and don't work for me? Because it's bigger than just the conspiracy. It's bigger than just what we see on a physical level. Somewhere deep inside, she's decoding information whether she knows it or not. And it is what it is, man. It just, you gotta give, if the person is able to decode information on a metaphysical level, they are. You don't have to agree with what they're doing. I don't agree with everything she does. I don't agree with everything Donald Trump does. You could say Donald Trump is rich because he got left all that money and this and that, and he's white, and I agree with you. See, the thing is, I could say one thing, you could say one thing, and it could be different things, and we both could be right. You could say Donald Trump is rich because he's a white man and because of white privilege, and I could agree with you on a level. But on another level, he maintained his wealth because of his belief that he is wealthy, because of his belief that he creates his reality. So what I'm saying is so different from what you're saying, but we're both right. And until we realize that it doesn't have to be either or, it could be either and or, it could be both. We both could be right, saying completely different things because it's different levels of existence. On that level, you're right. In this world of pop culture and mass consciousness and collective consciousness, there's the program of white privilege is a huge factor. There's no denying it. And when we come into spirituality, sometimes we try to deny what we see because we feel like that takes away from our spirituality. I don't want to say the words white privilege because it's going to make me not spiritual. No. I could say white privilege exists in this world, but it's just a computer program. I know there's a greater truth, so I don't acknowledge it to that extent. When I acknowledge it, I use it as inspiration to say, nigga, I'm God. You heard what Elijah Muhammad said. Ain't nothing messing with the teachings of that. And when he said you God, I know you look at yourself as the body, but that's just your interface, the interface down here. It's not the real you. It's just a mechanism you use to communicate with this realm. You really are God. And when I say God, I mean the oneness, the all. You really emanate from that, man. That's why they say you could do anything, because you're connected to everything. You connected to that, man. So the first step, I would say, is understanding that when I say I'm that nigga, I don't mean just the body. I mean the real me. I'm talking about the real me, man. I'm talking about that invisible me, man. I'm talking about the me that y'all can't see. You know what I'm saying? And when I think that about myself, then I start to do things. And then you be like, yo, damn, how so-and-so did that? How so-and-so did that? Because I understood who I was on a multidimensional level. You know what I'm saying? And not to say you don't hate your, I love my space suit. You know what I'm saying? I got a melanated space suit. I love this role. I came down this role as being what we call a black man. I came down here with a grade A space suit, man. Shit, my space suit, I could absorb all the rays of the sun. I sit in front of that sun, man, and I'm good. I don't worry about a damn thing. I love my space suit. This is the Maybach. This is the Bugatti. You know how they got different cars? I love my car. I love my vehicle, man. This shit is dope. So I'm not gonna, sometime when we physical, we bash. When we spiritual, we bash the physical, but it's one and the same. My thoughts morphed into this spacesuit. It's malleable. I hope I'm saying that word right. But it's changing. One day you can look at yourself and be like, one day you can look at yourself and think you're ugly. The next day you can look at yourself and think you the best looking thing on the face of the earth. It's just your perception. One day, you can look at yourself and 7 years from now, you can look, you won't even recognize that picture of yourself from 7 years ago, and you be like, damn, I look like that? Yo, I don't even feel the same. That's because you're not the same, man. And that goes into parallel realities, but that's a whole different discussion. This is getting kind of long, so I'm gonna wrap it up right now. But family, like I said, man, I cannot just diss David Icke 100%. I don't know where he gets that information about the reptilians. I understand that we interpret things differently, and I don't think that Europeans interpret ancient culture. They interpret it. I feel as though Europeans interpret ancient culture from a intellectual level, and they get it wrong. And I could come up with 1,000 examples. I notice just things we do different. Cultures, we do things different. And just when I walk down the street, I notice, like, let me just give you a small example. We black dudes wear fitted hats. We like to wear fitted hats a lot. It's part of our culture. And I always notice when I'm wearing a fitted hat walking down the street, when white dudes analyze me and how I'm dressed, they assume that my hat represents some type of allegiance that I have to the team that I'm wearing, which is a logical conclusion that one can make. He has on a Mets hat, or he has on an Astros hat. Oh, he's a Houston Astros fan. Completely understandable why anybody would think that. But in the hip hop culture, black culture, we wear hats a lot of times not just because of that, but a lot of times we wear hats because of the symbols. We just like the symbols, or we want to color coordinate, or we just like the way it looks simply. And we can have absolutely no allegiance with that team. We just vibe with it. We vibe with that symbol. So it's like, oh shit, that, imagine we going in the store, we like, oh, it got a star on it with a little line there. Oh, I'm getting that. And then another group of people specifically look for a team that they have an allegiance to. It's just two ways to view a culture. So 1,000 years from now, they may see everybody from New York with a certain hat, and they may think that we have an allegiance to that team, but no, we just got it for symbolic reasons because that symbol resonated with us. So we just interpret things differently. We're a very symbol oriented people. So some things I don't agree with what he says. But some of the things, man, this dude, gotta give him respect, man. Shout out. I want to talk to that energy that is not David Icke, but the energy, he still emanates from the one. We all come from the one, regardless of race, gender, whatever. We all emanate from the one. We're different movie characters in this movie, and somebody got to be the good guy, somebody got to be the bad guy, somebody got to be the bum. I watched Power the other week. Kendrick Lamar played the bum. That's what made the movie interesting. So what makes the movie interesting is that we play different roles. 50 Cent played Kaden. Then you got Tasha. Then you got Ghost. Then you got Tommy. You know what I'm saying? These is the different roles. It makes it a good show. This is the greatest show in the universe. They watching us. I remember I did Brother Polite did a lecture called The Inception of the Brain. And I never released it on the internet. And this was on my website back in the day. And for those of you that was on the website, y'all got it. And Brother Polite, she was breaking down the super string theory. And he was like, yo, when I really analyze this shit, we like the World Wide Web of the universe. And he showed the pictures about how the World Wide Web looked on a certain, I think it was on a, damn, what level was this on? From a perspective, I forget. From not a holographic level, but like from mathematical code perspective. And then he shows how we look or how our brain looks, and it was exactly the same. So it was like, just like we go on the internet or we watch TV for entertainment, somebody on Venus and Mars, man, we probably think of the best show, think of the greatest movie. They watching us right now eating popcorn. Like, damn, look at that nigga got shot. And they're not getting emotional. They're not sad because they know it's not real. So we're crying and we're like, oh, and they're like, yo, this nigga really think he's in that game. And they laugh and they just chilling. It's not real. It's not real. So, if I get emotional about something happening down there, it's all right to get emotional, but it's because we're playing a role. So understand that, I get emotional about things sometimes, but at the end of the day, we have to understand it's just a movie role, and that after we get emotional, you can just laugh it off, man. You know what I'm saying? Just laugh it off, man. It's just a movie at the end of the day. But that don't mean you don't play your role, man. I got a role I got to play. I'm going to play this shit good. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to play my role, but I'm going to understand the real me at the same time. You know what I'm saying? The dichotomy of life, the contradiction of life. I'm gonna play my role, and I'm gonna be me. And they be like, if you were so spiritual, why are you so much in the physical? Why do you want money? Why do you want that? Because that's my role down here. I innately feel rich, and I'm gonna do what I do down here. That's what I want to do down here. That's my role. So I want to thank you for listening. If you made it to this point, you's a bad motherfucker. And not the you sitting in the chair, but the real you, because the real you made your ass sit here and listen to Brother Rich run his mouth for 40 something minutes because it was necessary for you to hear this. So know that you are great. And when I say you, I don't just mean your body. Your body is an extension of the real you, the more wider you, the greater you. So you're multidimensional. I know you're down here. You never left where you come from. You're here and there at the same time. And I want to thank everybody who made it to this point. Go buy the book, David Icke, Human Race, Get Off Your Knees. Show support. If I increased your currency, make a donation to a brother, because I like money down in this realm. I love money. I ain't scared to say that. I love having money. So donate to Brother Rich. PayPal, richandmerit7@yahoo.com, or you can sign up to Patreon to support. Panic is gonna have, check this out, Brother Panic is gonna have his own show on the Patreon page, family. So he's coming every month with something, and there's gonna be several people that have exclusive shows or Patreon. The next show Brother Panic is doing, the first show Brother Panic is doing, is gonna be the Melanin Guide to the Astro World. Woo, my God. Make sure you sign up to patreon.com/blackmagic363. Brother Panic is going to have his own show. Getting other people on board. So it's going to be like, it's going to be like, my own TV station that's exclusive for those who got, as the rich say, got skin in the game. You know what I'm saying? They serious about their shit. They gonna invest in they selves to learn about their greatest selves. So sign up to patreon.com/blackmagic363. Once again, thanks for listening. This is Brother Rich. I'm signing out, family. Peace.